There we are. Okay. Hello, Julie.
Hi, Tina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. It's the last day of January,
Yes.
going going into February. So let's welcome February,
Yeah.
right?
And the new moon, right? Yeah.
Oh,
This
it's the
Monday's
new
the new
moon.
moon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Chinese New Year. It's the year of the tiger
Oh, yeah.
tomorrow. So that's a big deal.
Right?
Yeah.
Lots
So
going on.
happy New Year to all those that like to celebrate it. And it's a big part of your culture and identity. Yeah, wishing you many divine blessings during the year of
Wow.
the tiger.
Year of the Tiger. I wonder, that sounds fierce, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know all the meanings. This is where I wish my mom was around because my mom was
Yeah.
really knowledgeable in the Chinese astrology. She knew
Yeah.
it inside out. Oh my gosh, she was so good at it.
I love
But
that.
yeah, but it's because, well, my uncle too, but her uncle, so my great uncle was Chinese descent. He
Yeah.
immigrated from China. Yeah, so he married into my mom's side of the family, and he married my great aunt, and so he taught this to the family. He shared his knowledge of the Chinese astrology and the tea leaves and
Oh, how
other
wonderful.
customs, and yeah. So anyways, but it was something I never took to. Like I know my mom, I was more of a listener, like, when she had to say something about it, I listened more than, wanted to practice it.
Yeah,
So
for
yeah.
sure. I would
I
have
should have
too.
grabbed the book. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So I think,
Right?
yeah, so and I want to say I believe Tiger, a lot of its traits and themes will relate to numerology and astrology too. Like it's
Yeah.
uncanny how that works.
Wow.
So yeah.
Hello, Jessica. How are you
Oh,
doing
right.
today?
I guess I need the comment section up. Yeah.
She is. I think
So
she's
yeah.
looking
So
for a reading.
oh, okay. Yeah. So I guess we're gonna share because a lot of people get, excited when we say, intuitive
Yeah.
forecast. So this is like we're sharing messages for everybody. So this is a general reading for all of us, including Julie and myself, because we're part of the collective.
That's right. Yeah.
And so this is for everyone. So we're not doing personal guided readings. This isn't the show for that. No. So, but we thank you for your question.
Yes, thank you. And I'm
Hmm.
on a new laptop. I got a new laptop, so my camera's all different. So
Yeah,
I'm kind of trying to learn how it works.
I know, because Julie kind of looks like a ghost.
I do. I look very ghostly. I don't know how to fix it. I'm still here. I'm alive.
Yeah, we're not seeing things.
Zombie. Okay.
Because it'd be like, wow, that's amazing how Julie can do that from the ghost world.
I told you. Told you I'm
Yeah,
connected.
yeah,
No, but
yeah,
yeah, it's fine. But
yeah.
yeah, February, three twos. We were talking about this for
Hmm.
February at least. There's more twos to come, but two is a big number for
For
22.
this month.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess we'll get going because we're going to share what is in store according to numerology, the tarot, the spirit animal, and plus our psychic perceptions. So numerology, it's a number 8 month, but as Julie was saying, there's so many twos. So it's like the twos kind of like really figure strongly in this month. And even the year. So, and all the twos, of course, when you look at 2022, there's three twos, and then February is the second month, so there's another two. So right away, there's like four twos, and then some days there's going to be five, depending on the date, and then like tomorrow, no, not tomorrow,
Yeah.
Wednesday. I'm thinking
Yeah.
it's February 1st today, but Wednesday, right? Because it's the second day of the second month of 2022.
Yes.
So there's a lot of twos, and that will influence us. And it's part of the forecast. So I haven't posted the written format yet. It's going to be up sometime this afternoon. So please watch for that. Reach out to me if you want a copy, if you can't find it. but yeah, so the twos are prevalent. And what that means is, I'm going to try to explain it how I wrote it. I didn't write it down on my notes. But when I find, this is my experience, because I know a lot of people say, like, oh, when the same number repeats so often, it's an angel number, or it's so magical. And it is, like, yes, it's those things, but it is very deep, because it's an energy where it's like, because it repeats so many times, it's like there's no getting around it. Like, it's something that we have to face. We have to experience. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I'm trying to, like, find the words for it
Yeah,
right now, but
it's like a power struggle internally, right?
yeah, it's very powerful. So
Very
it's almost,
intense.
so like, imagine you're going, you know, down a hallway and there's a door in front of you. And it's like, so you open that door and it's like, oh, there's another door. And then there's another door, and there's another door before you get to the opening of it. That's what the repetition of the numbers, that's the energy it creates. So it's like, facing the same thing over and over and over again until you find a way, like, to make, depending what the energy is, like, I'm going to say, make peace with it, because
Yeah.
two is about peace.
Mm.
So if you're struggling, let's say things are getting to you, it's like it's going to show up and repeat over and over and over again until you find peace with it, or you find the love with it, or
Yeah,
if
makes
that
sense.
makes sense. Hmm.
It does. Yeah, these cycles that go on and on, like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. And I think the second is Groundhog Day.
I think it is. I
Yeah.
was just
And I
thinking
don't
about.
like that movie. Oh, I
Oh my
cannot
God,
watch.
you don't? I love that movie. Are you
No.
kidding me? There's a moment in there where he's just done because he's done this over and over, and
Yeah, that's
he's
why I
trying to
can't.
kill himself.
Because it's almost like that's the story of my life, because I don't share my date of birth, but I'm just going to say, in my date of birth, I have the same number 3 times.
Yeah,
So I live it. I'm like,
me too. It is
so there's
Groundhog Day
times,
for you.
so it's like, I don't want to watch it, because I live that life sometimes.
So have you seen it though?
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
started, like, I couldn't watch the whole thing, so I
I
would get
got
into it and then I
yeah.
have to stop it, because it really, like, it really gets to me. Like, I don't know
Triggers
how to
you.
explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's like, no, shut it off, shut it down. And then I'll try again and it'll be like, nope, I can't. So
No.
I don't even bother. But yeah, I
Well, I
know.
was thinking about it because there's this moment where he's just at his wit's end with this cycle going over and over, this day going over and over. And so he gets in the car, he's going to kill himself. And he's got some passenger with him. And he's like, gone crazy. He goes, I'm not playing by their rules anymore. And
Yeah,
so we say that all the time.
yeah,
We use that
yeah,
saying from that movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
But I could
gosh.
see why you have, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a go again. We'll see. We'll see.
Maybe.
See, maybe I'll be brave.
Maybe that's part of the acceptance. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
you watching Groundhog Day.
But anyways, I explained how the repetition of the same number, how it unfolds and how it touches us
Yeah.
in written form, and I want to say it came out beautifully. So I want people to read that part. If anything, if there's a part I want you to understand, it's that part. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
I want to see it. It
So
looks like you're locked up on Facebook. I don't know why.
we're locked up on Facebook.
That's what it looks like to me.
Oh,
In my view.
I'm
Maybe.
wondering, well, if anybody's watching in the audience, if you can put in the chat if whether you're able to watch us or not, because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. That's
interesting.
important.
Yeah. Yeah, like, what, we're not working?
There we go. I
No
think
one
we're
no one can watch us right now. Oh, so Eleanor just said hello. So yeah, I think she
oh, see, I
can.
think we were locked up. Yeah.
I think,
Hello. Hi, Eleanor.
yeah, Jessica says clear. Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay,
I
we're
guess
good to
it was
go.
me.
Okay. All
Good to
right.
go.
Okay. So should we start talking about what what we picked up on? Where do you want to go? Do you want to go? Because we're
Um,
both kind of quiet. I don't know if people feel
Quiet.
quiet too. It's almost like I
Very
don't have
reserved.
much to
Yeah,
say. Yeah, like we're kind of laid back, kind of the
yeah,
energy. Yeah,
and processing. There's a lot
yeah.
going on in the world right now too, right? There's a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
protests, a lot of
I wanted.
intensity.
I
Yeah.
want to say yeah. So I'm Canadian. I'm in Canada, and I know some of the viewers too. There's a lot of Canadians here. So there's
Wow.
this big truck convoy. It's the Freedom Convoy that's happening right now in our country. It's peaceful demonstrations,
Good.
peaceful standoff. Yeah. And
Yeah,
and
good people.
ultimately it's about freedom of choice. That's what they're trying to bring attention. They
Yeah.
um yeah. And so there is a lot of support. Um
Good. Peaceful
yeah, and
protests are wonderful.
yeah, yeah, and you know what I like about their what they're trying to do, it's like they're not about trying to take sides. You know, they're not about trying to say like, well, you have to do this before you can do any of these other things. That's not,
That's
they're
good.
about like, well, why they're questioning it. It's like, well, why are these passports necessary for you to be able to go shop? Because now it's getting to the point where some places they want you to show a passport before you can go grocery shopping
Wow.
or you can go to the liquor store.
Wow.
And it's like, and so that's what they're trying to, determine like why does it matter? Like if if a certain population's already vaccinated, shouldn't that be good enough? Shouldn't that suffice? Shouldn't that do? And can't we just trust and like
Yeah. Yeah.
just live a life without having to show this all the time? So anyways,
Yeah.
um they yeah, so it's just peaceful. Their stance is about freedom of choice, and one of their big things is like they want the government to abolish the vaccination passport, and a lot of Canadians agree with that one. So
Yeah.
yeah, and it's uniting. Yeah,
Love that.
Jessica, yeah. So
That's
I
the way to
do
do it.
see like it is really uniting a lot of Canadians together, and I feel like there's voices being heard that were shut up before
Mm-hmm.
because it's
Yeah.
like either because they were made to feel bad for thinking or feeling differently because it caused arguments, because it
Mm-hmm.
caused trouble, and it's like this is bringing things out in the open. I mean,
Good.
there's still people who don't agree. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah. Well,
I do,
yeah. Of
yeah, and
course.
have their like views
Yeah.
and are adamant, about how they feel about things, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like wow. So I mean, this isn't going away anytime soon. So anyway, so I just want to say from for me, I support the truckers, and I'm sending them lots of love and life, and I hope
Yes.
victory
Support for
for the
sure.
truckers. Yeah,
Yes. Victory for sure. I hope so
yeah.
too. And I
So
love the peacefulness of it because the other side is so adamant, but they're not as
yeah,
peaceful. They're just more.
that's right. Yeah, and they
Right?
are, and you know what? They're being very honest and very transparent. I really appreciate that too. So they
Yeah.
are being honest. They're saying like,
Good.
there are people in the group that are trying to cause trouble. There are
Yeah.
people like groups that are attaching themselves to it that don't belong there, and they're saying like that's not what they're about. So, and I'm going to name them like, so there are neo-Nazi groups that have showed up. There are people like, claiming, like causing trouble because of this or that, right? And they're
Mhm.
like, right away, they're saying like, this is not what we're about. We're not endorsing that. They're not part of our group.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Donna's asking what is going on with the truckers. Do you know what their cause
yeah.
is?
So, Donna, so this is a movement that's has been organized and by the truckers, like all the big semi truckers, like the delivery truckers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the reason why is because they say they are experiencing seeing things that many of us are not maybe privy to, and that includes like the border crossing. So even though they're vaccinated, because the majority of them are. That's what they're
Mhm.
saying. Like, I think they said, like, in the industry, I think it's 80 or 85% of the truckers are already vaccinated.
Mm.
But that's not the point. They're saying, like, why do they still have to, like, why do they have to show a passport? Why do they have to maybe do like this test to go
Mhm.
across the board? Like, it's like there's still barriers and difficulties that are arising, and they feel like every time they try to do their job, there's something that's taken away from them to make their life or their job more difficult. So they're questioning, like, what is the true purpose of all this? Like, what they're saying, like, it's about the freedom. They're so this truck convoy, so all these truckers, I'm getting ahead of, okay, are have driven across this country, north, and it's a big country, south, west, and east, and they're all converging on the capital of Canada, which is Ottawa, Ontario. So I believe they said there are over 100,000 people, and
Wow.
the number keeps going up, that have gathered on this one city. And Ottawa's not a very big city.
Mm.
Okay. No. So it's like when it gets crowded, it's going to get crowded. So they've
Oh,
blocked off a lot of these roads into the city because that's where the parliament, that's where the head of our government is. And they are protesting. They want our prime minister, because that's what he's called, the head of our country, to resign. I don't know if he will, but they want him to resign because they feel he hasn't been doing a good job as our leader. They
yeah.
want, I think, other members of the parliament to resign as well. They want this vaccine passport to be, abolished. And they want freedom of choice for the vaccinations. They want it where if you want the vaccine, you get the vaccine. If you don't want the vaccine, you don't get the vaccine. And our government is pushing this agenda of, like, everyone has to be vaccinated by a certain date. Everyone, no matter what, no
Yeah.
matter if your body can take it or not, whether you believe in it or not. They want every Canadian to have this vaccine. And the truckers are standing up and saying, like, no,
Mhm.
enough is enough. Stop telling us how to live our life, how everything has to be. We believe in freedom of choice. So that's what it's about. And then all these other truckers are from around the world are lending support. So there's a GoFundMe account to help support that, with expenses. Also, to whatever money is raised above and beyond that's not needed, it's going to be donated to the veterans of Canada,
Wow.
because they believe, like, the veterans, they fought for our freedom. So they feel like they deserve the support as well, because this is what it's all
Yeah.
connected to. So there's truckers from the states that have joined this movement, and then in other countries around the world, they're holding their own convoys in support of Canada, and also to bring about freedom there, because whatever
Wow.
needs are going on for them. So because it varies from country to country, and they're trying to call out all these leaders at the same time, right? So it's
Interesting. Yeah.
like what is really going on? That's what they're
Yeah.
trying to get the heart of the matter. So it's a huge big deal. Donna, I recommend, if you go on while you're on Facebook, but if you go on Facebook and go, like, Canada Truck Convoy, like, you'll see,
Yeah.
lots and lots of posts, and you'll also read more into it, what their story is and why, and
Yeah.
so on. So
I've seen
because
some of
they
the video. It's amazing. There's so many
yeah,
people. Yeah.
yeah, and
Great.
like, yeah, and there's convoys and demonstrations being held in a lot of the major cities across this country, because not everyone can get to Ottawa, right? And it's also happens to be one of the coldest times of the year for our
Yeah.
country. So it's not an easy task to do it at this
No.
time of the year. And conveniently, our prime minister has
Has
gone in.
COVID.
No, he doesn't have COVID. He said he
Oh,
came in contact with someone who has
I
COVID. So
thought
he's
this morning I
isolated.
read he was positive, but maybe
Oh,
not.
really? Okay,
Yeah.
maybe. I haven't checked the news this
Yeah.
morning.
But I don't
So
know. Yeah.
But he's conveniently, the timing of it, he's gone into
Of
isolation for
course.
5 days.
Right? You can't
So
touch me.
he's not even addressing this. Like he hasn't come out like,
Wow.
so a lot of
Yeah.
people are wondering, yeah, he's hiding. Like a lot of Canadians think he's hiding and being a coward and like, come on. And that's another reason why he should resign, because if he can give it but he can't take it,
Mhm. Yeah.
that's yeah. So
Yeah, that's
anyways,
interesting. That's
so
very, very
political.
interesting. It's so political. Well, we know all about that in the US. It's been so political
Wow.
here for years. So,
But I love it
mm,
how they're trying to be like their main thing is about love,
yeah,
peace, unity, freedom. And it's
yeah,
just like, and that warms my heart. Like I just feel like that's,
wonderful.
I just love that. And I feel like, yeah,
Yeah, that's wonderful. I
yeah,
hope that has a happy resolution, whatever
I
that
do too.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's very inspiring. Yeah, yeah, you're welcome, Donna. So yeah, so just yeah, so in Jessica Hughes, she put the name Freedom Convoy 2022. If you just put that in your Facebook search bar and
Yeah.
boom, all these things, yeah. You'll see their page. It's easy to join.
Yeah.
And yeah,
You
you'll
really
get the
you
true
should be
message.
you really should be proud, Lynn, because around the
Mhm.
world that those protests are happening as
Yeah.
well, but certainly not as peaceful. I mean, there is some real angst in the world right now with the mandates, and
Mhm.
you're not alone in that and feeling like
Yeah.
you just have no choice. I mean, I think it
Yeah.
seems like the U.S. is not being as strict as others countries that I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear a lot of complainers about us losing our rights, but we don't have to show a passport in restaurants and not in Arizona
Wow.
anyway. And I don't think in around the country yet. So
Yeah, see, you're lucky then. Yeah. See,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
do. And now, like, there's like big box. I mean, I try not to shop so much at the big box retailers, but there are some big
yeah.
box retailers now that it's starting more in Eastern Canada first than the West, but it'll come, it'll make its way. They're saying, like, so like Costco is saying, oh, you're going to have to start showing your passport if you want to shop in our store.
Yeah,
And it's like,
yeah,
really?
yeah,
Really, like first I feel it's none of their business or no one's business whether you get vaccinated or not, but
yeah.
we're making it everyone's business, right? That's our body, that's our, I
Yeah.
mean, we could go down so many roads, but anyways, it's
Yes,
like,
it's a
yeah,
discussion that the world is having, right?
so there's a protest there about that. So they're like asking all Canadians to inundate the head office with phone call after phone call and threatening, like, I'm going to cancel my membership. I'm not going to shop there if this is going to be the case.
Yeah,
And I hope Canadians stick to that. I hope they do that because it's like our power is being taken away. I think that's what it feels
mhm.
like. Our power and our power to choose and to be is being taken away. And I know there's those on the other side of the argument saying, well, what about our freedom to be,
Yeah,
to be healthy and all this? But it's like, you know what? It'll always be something. There'll always be arguments on either side. There'll be always be like, what about this or what about that? Because I'm seeing all these counter posts being put
hmm,
up, and for me, it's like, yeah, like those counterposts, those that's true too, but you're taking away.
hmm, yeah. We have to be very careful anytime we want to take
Yeah,
away
it's
something.
like,
Yeah,
you're taking away this, from the movement. It's like you're trying to steal, I don't want to say thunder, but it's almost like you're trying to steal their purpose away,
yeah,
because you're making, like, the big thing is like winter tires right now, like they're counterposting with winter tires to this freedom convoy thing, and it's, to the vaccination argument, and I'm like,
mm,
but with winter tires you've got a choice. You can put them on or you don't have to. It's not a law everywhere in
yeah,
Canada. And then if you don't like it, you can do something about it. Whereas with the vaccine, once it's in you, it's in you. You can't take it back. You
hmm,
can't get rid of it. And I'm not saying like it's because it's, good or bad, but you know what I'm saying? I'm
hmm,
trying to compare the analogy of it. So
yeah. Right. Well, yeah, because I hear the arguments that that's the only way to rid of us from COVID is this vaccine.
Yeah.
And but I look at it, I hope one day it becomes more like the flu shot, where if you're vulnerable from the flu, anyone who's
Yeah.
vulnerable, you get a flu shot or you get a COVID shot or whatever
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just hopeful it, because the conundrum, of course, is free speech. So they are allowed to say their opinion on mandates, right? I mean, their opinions,
Yeah.
not to enforce them, but their opinions about them. And you don't want to take that away because,
But they're trying to. That's the thing. That's what.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you try to take away their right to say so, then that's taking away another right. So it's
Yeah.
such a conundrum. You can't
I know.
win at that because
I know.
free
I
speech
know.
is free for all,
I know.
So
I know.
it's so difficult.
It is. It is. And it's like, you know, I'm not an arguer. I'm
Right,
not,
me either.
I'm going to be the one to admit and I've never been, I'm not one who's very good at making my points all the time or trying to show people like, a different side. And it's like, okay, I'm
Absolutely. Me
supposed to,
either. Yeah.
yeah, like I'm supposed to be one of these people that take the middle ground. Like, okay, can we agree to disagree? Or
Me
like
too.
you're
It's always
valid
the
over
middle.
here and you're
Yeah,
valid over here. Okay,
absolutely.
can we just find a way to live life or to
Right.
to be right?
Yeah,
um so I just feel like, but it's like it's gotten to the point where people are trying to argue who's right, who's on the right
exactly. Yeah,
side, and
right.
who's ultimately right,
Black
and
and
it has
white.
to be
Yeah,
this way,
yeah,
this way or the highway, or you don't get this, and it's like, come on. And I think that's, again, this is what the truckers convoy is all about. It's about like, well, no, why can't we live where both sides count?
yeah, exactly.
Or
Right. The middle ground.
we can choose, and it's fine. Like, can we just live that way where we can choose again? Because why has it gotten it to this point, really? Right. So, and
Yeah.
I know people are, and that's where the argument, well, it's a bad,
Yeah.
COVID
See,
is
it's,
bad and it does this and it does that. And it's like, okay,
yeah,
but, but
yeah, yeah. It's better
those,
to talk
but
about it
those,
than just argue
yeah,
about it.
but
We
those
need
who
the
are
discussion.
concerned about getting
Yeah.
sick from it and dying from it, then then you choose the vaccination and you get it. And if that
Yeah.
helps you and makes you feel good about, being safe, great. But there are those who feel like, I'm going to take my chances. I don't believe in the vaccine, or I don't want it because I don't, whatever reasons. Then great, let them choose that too.
Yeah. I agree.
Because shouldn't, the ones who are vaccinated should, doesn't that mean then they are kind of safe? Like, right? Like, but
Personal responsibility, whatever everyone's situation is so different. It's
yeah,
so different. So
yeah,
you just have to take a personal responsibility in your life and your
yeah,
situation, and that's
yeah,
all you can do.
yeah. So I mean, of course, I don't want no one to get sick.
Right.
I don't want people to suffer. But
Right.
I try to look at it from the point of like, we're all going to die. We're all going to die one day. And it's like, but how do I want to live? How do I want to live my life? And how do you want to live your life? And I feel like we should all have the choice, the freedom to do that. And that's where all the arguments come in, because it's like, well, it's not just about you, right? And it's like, yeah, I know that, but in a general sense is how I try to look at it, right? So,
Yeah,
because
there's the personal
it can
responsibility.
get all complicated and can get all so immersed and
Well, you're trying to
right.
speak for somebody else when you're saying that. When you're saying, well, you just don't care about COVID or you don't care who dies. That's from their perspective how they would feel if they didn't get the vaccine. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's just all personal perspective. It's
it
all
is. Yeah,
subjective. It's not some objective argument. It's very subjective. So you have
yeah,
to really remember that.
yeah.
Everybody has a story and
That's
they're all
right.
valid.
That's right. Yeah.
But
Oh my
two,
gosh.
I have to say, February with the two is all about a power shift, though. twos, that's what they represent, is the shift, this balancing of energies, this balancing of
Yeah.
arguments and of
Yeah.
power struggles really going on. And so there's these residuals of people that were in power that feel it losing them. They're slipping away
Yeah.
from that power. They can feel it. And when you're feeling that way, when you're feeling out of control of your own path, you start clawing and thinking, your argument becomes so much more intense because you feel
Yeah.
like you're losing ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's what February is bringing into us. And that's why we're feeling just kind of quiet, because there's this intensity of this power. The
Yeah.
shift has been happening for a couple of years of who's in control.
Yeah.
And so now people are really standing up, like the truck drivers. They had a job to do. They had families to feed. They couldn't afford to strike. They couldn't afford to stand up and say what they thought was right, their personal perspective, because they had to feed
Yeah.
their families. When the
Yeah.
world got thrown into this chaos and people started shifting, there was that power shift of job versus life, career, money versus personal happiness, and what
Yeah.
that means to us as units. Families were dividing over this argument itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a shift. It really is, and that's unsettling and intense,
It
right?
is. Yeah. It is. Yeah. Because of all those twos, that's what I mean. See, like, just our I'm so glad we can talk about this, right?
Yeah,
And you're
right.
listening to me, like you're hearing me out, Julie, because I know you you have some different perspectives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And different feelings and thoughts on it. So I just really appreciate that about you. So thank you. And even those in the audience, like listening,
Yes.
because it could start an argument in
Yeah.
the chat
No,
box,
we're
right?
not
But
doing
it did,
that.
right? Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, see, that's the twos, all those twos. See how like it
Yeah.
just really grabs you, and it's intense and it's
Intense.
deep and
Yeah.
it's like yeah, and very
Yeah.
emotional, because two is very emotional, and the
It
number
is.
8, because it's an 8 month, is all the ego and confidence and power,
Yeah. Power.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
The
it's like
tiger.
yeah, and the twos coming in is like, okay, there's going to be power here
Yes.
now.
Inner power. That's right. That's
Okay,
what we're
so it's like
doing.
coming
Yeah.
from the heart. So when people, are saying like there's so much, love, and this is about peace and unity, and it's like that power, it's like, yes, like that's going to build momentum. It should,
Absolutely.
according to the numbers, right? So it'll be
Yes.
interesting to see how it all unfolds in the next few weeks or longer. I don't know how long this is going to be.
Yeah.
But anyways, but yeah, so even personally, like in our personal lives, like we're going to feel this pull of like, is this my ego? Like, is my ego wounded? Like,
Yeah.
am I being arrogant about this, or am I going to come from the heart? Like, is this going to be,
Yeah.
am I going to speak from the heart, show from the heart, care from the heart, instead of caring about, is this fulfilling my ego?
Yeah.
Like
I
that
don't want to
kind
be
of,
wrong. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Right. But then you
right.
lose the argument anyway in your, you lose the
That's
point
right.
in your
Yeah,
arguing. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, keep
Yeah,
it.
there you go.
I remember before COVID even started, we were saying, because we were going through all the Trump chaos here when we started the
Right.
show, and you and I had this show called Stand, or we were talking about Stand Your Middle Ground.
Oh,
And boy,
yes.
hasn't that proven to be what we need to do? Keep
Yeah,
doing, right? Keep standing
yeah,
your middle ground. There's
yeah,
so many extremities and so many
yeah,
loud voices in this time of shifting,
yeah,
and trying to take
yeah,
control. So yeah,
yeah,
stand your middle ground.
yeah.
Stick
And
with
I
the
think,
horses.
yeah, and I think a big part of all this too is like understanding.
Yeah,
So people, and for me, understanding is about experience. So if someone doesn't have a certain experience, it's hard to understand the other person's
that's right.
heart or view or, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
behavior, because it's like you don't you don't know what it maybe feels like, or what it, to think that way, right? Because you haven't had that experience. So I just want people to know, like, this could be a month where there'll be profound experiences where it's like I've never felt this before. I've never had this happen to me before. Why is this so intense? And it's because you're gaining an understanding of what it's like on the other side. Because that's the thing. The two is like, when you say balance, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, how do I understand the other side? And it's like you might get an experience that helps you understand that other side, or
Yeah.
so just
Right.
be aware of that. It may not, always,
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily have to be something really bad or awful, but it, just something where it brings that awareness.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other side of that,
Yeah.
from chaos comes peace too. There is the other side of that wheel of life,
Yeah.
and so depending on what you've been
Yeah.
experiencing, it's just
Yeah.
shifting. It's not
Yeah.
good or bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, and it is. And it's like, what are you going to choose? Right. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
I want to choose, peace, or I want to be at peace with it. And,
Yeah.
so that means something different for everyone. And we just have to like be, accepting of that. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely. All voices
anyways,
are
I
valid.
can't believe we talked
Yes.
about all
I
that. Holy
know.
cow.
That was needed,
Whew,
obviously.
whew.
And it's part of February. It really is part of that two
Yeah.
energy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's here.
All right. I kind of want to bring up, what I get with all this, because yeah, see, we were sharing, and because that's part of the month, sharing, caring, our values. But I want to bring up love came up, and it's funny because when I heard that message, it was like my guides were going like love, 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 and more love. Like, that's how they said it. So that's
I
how I
love that.
wrote it.
Good.
Yeah. So it's like, this is how I want to explain it for everyone. If there's something, so when you're feeling troubled, when you're hurting, when you're doubting, when you're worried, love. I know this seems silly. People say, no, really, love's the answer. Because, some people say that's corny or it doesn't work. But my guides are giving it to me. They're saying like it's going to work. So it's like love. And that's why they're saying, and that's when, if you're saying, but that's corny, then you go love again, give it more love.
Yeah.
And then if you're still doubting, then it's like you give it more love. So it's like they're trying to show us like this is a time you just keep showering things with love. Love, 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 love. That's why I kept getting the word repeating over again, and
I
more
love
love.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I think it's a way to help find peace and to heal, like maybe heal it also, to come
Yeah.
to terms with it. And then maybe like, who knows, like what happens is like, yeah, the universe might show like, oh, because you gave it so much love,
Yeah.
ta-da, like something wonderful
Here you go.
happens or unfolds, or how it turns out.
That,
Yeah.
yes. That's very,
Right.
and what's more empowering than that, to look at everything through the lens of love, and then you're
Yeah.
not on one side or the other. You are in that middle ground where it is peaceful because you're not so intense on one side of the argument.
That's
You're
right.
trying to see all sides of the argument. So
That's right. Yeah.
very
Yeah.
empowering. There's no better power than that when you're not taking
Yeah.
a stand like that, because everyone's trying to prove you wrong when you take that kind of stand. When you say I'm right and you're wrong, everyone's trying to prove you wrong, of course, because you're taking such a hard stance on it. So look at this
Yeah.
scammer coming in.
I know. I blocked her.
We're not even reading.
I know. I know. Oh,
Yeah,
let's
so
send
I
her
love that
love.
one. Yes, let's send her love. Yes.
So it would be, it'd be interesting. Let's say, so if there's somebody or something you don't like in your life, like it's challenging you, it's like, it could just be a matter of like, okay, I give myself love, so that I can be, at peace with it. And then at times it could be, well, I'm going to send them love vibrations. And let's say it doesn't work. And then it's like, well, I'm going to send them more love, or I'm going to call in the love energy. It's like it could be
Yeah,
just a matter of that, just to help diffuse
yeah,
those, those energies or what you're feeling, that's not great to feel or not
Yeah.
great to receive, right?
No,
So it
absolutely.
doesn't mean you're liking them. It doesn't mean you're liking what's happening or what's going on, but because like and love are completely different. So it's like, you're just, finding a way to peace, or you're finding um, a way to, like, for that middle ground. And like you said, love. Love is the middle
Right?
ground.
You're finding a
Yeah.
way to forgive without hearing I'm sorry. You eventually have to forgive even though you don't get that in
Yeah.
return, right? You just,
Yeah.
for your own self, not for that person who's done you wrong, or those
Yeah.
group of people, or the country, or
Yeah.
whatever has done you wrong.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's the way, is forgiveness, and that's love, right?
Yeah. Like, sometimes I wonder, like, with that, it's like, if everyone, well, maybe not everyone, or the majority of people were to get together and say, let's send COVID love, what would happen
Yeah.
to
Oh, go
COVID,
away.
right?
It
Or
would.
or if we were to send, let's say, here in Canada, our Prime Minister Trudeau love,
Yeah.
what, what, how would that happen? Like, what would he do? Like, would he be like, I hear your voices, and I'm going to, like, whatever he decides to do? Wouldn't that be interesting? Like, so, yeah,
Most
it's
likely
almost like a
thrive.
challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or things would turn around, or
Right.
he would resign, because that's what the love energy is doing. Like, I don't know. Like, we don't know. You,
Yeah.
you have to, when you're loving, I feel you can't put conditions on it,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Or yeah, or the outcome on it. It's like, love is supposed to, it's just love,
Yeah.
right? I don't know how to, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Unconditional love is an
Unconditional.
interesting thing. I mean, that's what Jesus did, was
Yeah.
used unconditional love to heal the sick.
Yeah.
He looked upon them as healthy. He didn't have any magic potions
Yeah.
or any, tricks up his sleeve. He looked at them as they were healthy and thriving, and they did. So
Yeah.
that was the miracle. So
Yeah.
anytime you shower with unconditional love, and boy, you have to really think about what that means. Unconditional love. I love you anyway.
That's
That is
right.
not easy.
No.
And, but
Yeah.
it,
And
it
give
is.
yourself
Yeah.
love too, because a
Yeah.
lot of
First,
times we don't,
right?
right? Yeah. So it's like, love yourself. So you made a mistake, but love yourself. So
Yeah.
you beat yourself up for making a certain choice. Love yourself anyways, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think,
Yes. Forgive yourself.
that we need that too right now. I think that's gonna, for some reason, love seems to be a big theme for
Absolutely.
this month. So yeah,
And
and then
year.
Angier, yeah, and then also too. So, like, it was, I think, Jessica Chamberlain that had asked, like, about her love life. So it's like, there you go.
There you go.
It's possible.
Definitely in this year and
So
month.
believe in it. Yeah. So believe in the
Yes.
power of love. Oh my gosh. So I guess we're gonna keep going.
Yeah. Look how distracted we've been.
I know. Okay. Let's see what I want to go. Brave heart. I love that message, like, brave
Love
heart,
Braveheart.
because it
Yes.
kind of feels, in a way, um, to me, like, kind of gentle, or like forgiving. So it's almost like, um, let's say you're going with your heart on a decision, or you're going with your heart on speaking about something that is in here. That's, for me, that's, brave. That's showing, you're being brave. And you're listening to your heart, because it's not always easy to listen to your heart. And especially the way we're brought up, we live in a society where it's about the mind,
Hmm.
right? It's always about
Right.
the mind. What does and it's like, you know, a lot of times our heart knows better than our mind does. And
Yeah.
so it's like being brave enough, do you have a brave heart? And it could be with the little things, right? It doesn't always have to be with the big choices,
Yeah. And I just don't
right?
even know how to tell the difference sometimes.
Yeah,
Although I do know that when I'm feeling intense negative emotion. That is my brain and my heart fighting with each other. Otherwise, it would be easy. Whatever I'm
Right.
doing, whatever it
Right.
is, it would be ease and flow if I was listening to my intuition and heart only. So it is only, I guess, right, when I'm feeling, I don't know, failure or whatever. That's the brain
Yeah.
kicking in then. Yeah.
Yeah. And that could be where, like, you need to be brave with your heart and be like,
Yeah.
okay, Julie, why am I hurting so much? What does my, you know, getting in tune with your heart and, sitting with it and healing it and giving what your heart needs. So if your heart is saying, cry your heart out, then you do that, you
Yeah.
know,
Right.
and then, the other side of that is like, oh, you feel lighter and better for it. And you were
For
brave
sure.
enough to listen to your heart,
Yeah. Give yourself
right?
time to cry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
true.
there's that. I know people might think of the movie.
Yeah. I love that too. Another good movie.
Yeah. So we can look at the lighter side of that. It could be like, I don't know, um, yeah, watching the movie or the
And again,
movie.
a power shift, right? If you look at that movie, I mean, he was
Yes,
just a civilian standing up for what was right in his
that's right.
community, and
Yeah,
right. And look how much momentum got behind that. So, yeah,
yeah,
you can change the world with this kind of uh, power, because it is great power when you can get that kind of momentum going, a cause for the good,
yeah,
uh, like these truckers. So
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. Okay. Um, I guess strength would be, maybe the next word. So strength. And every time I see that word, like, 'cause the spirit animal for the month is the lion. So I feel like strength and the lion, they go hand in hand, like,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And it's funny because of, like, how many stories, that have a lion in it is connected to, courage and
Yeah.
being strong, right? Like having the
Yeah.
strength to be courageous or to be brave. Like that
Right.
all
Wizard of
plays
Oz.
in Wizard of Oz. Yeah, like the lion, he was a coward, but really he was,
Yeah.
showed bravery at the end. Like he was brave,
Yeah.
like,
He was.
he just didn't see it that way, right?
Right. He had
And
it all
yeah,
along.
and he took little steps. Yeah, he took little
Yeah.
steps along the way.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hello to Tia and Louise. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, it's nice. Lovely to have you ladies here.
Right.
Um, mhm.
And the
What
lion,
else?
spring comes, what is it, in like a lion, out like a lamb.
Right.
So
Yeah.
winter, I guess.
Yeah.
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 And we're
Yeah.
heading into spring time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
So
And
be
what else?
brave.
Yeah. And what else would you say? Like lion? I get Braveheart too with it. Like,
Yeah.
because do you have the heart of a lion?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
another saying. So that connects to the heart.
Yeah.
I feel like lions love fiercely,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And I want to go loyal too with lions. Like I feel like there's a loyalty with them.
Yeah.
Um, Also the roar, because lions. Um, I did read this, so apparently, like they're very quiet, and the only time they roar is when they feel like threatened or like push comes to shove for them, like that
Oh,
kind of. So it's really
okay.
interesting. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
feel like that'll be a theme, like, for a lot of us, it could be like, with a person or with a project, it's like, okay, um, it's time to make this roar or time, time for me to,
Yeah. Time to use my voice and speak up.
yeah,
It is
yeah,
time to. Yeah.
yeah, or show what I'm truly made of because,
Yeah. Prove
I'm
yourself.
tired of being,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'm brave enough now to stand up for myself, for what I believe in, or in
Yeah.
this project, whatever it is, so it can relate that way.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Stand up for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to these days, right? You can't just sit timidly anymore. It's just there. Like you're so pushed, right? So I don't know. I feel like that. Like you just can't sit quiet anymore. I'd like to.
Yeah. I know.
Hello, Hazel. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just time to use your voice. It's just the new age, I guess. The new days are here where you just use your voice. But it
Yeah.
could be a good
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. So I do recommend for everyone, read The Spiritual Meaning of the Lion. Check out a few websites. Don't always limit to just one, just to get a sense of what it's all about, because those traits will be our medicine. They'll influence us. Um, we can I believe in this, like calling in on the lion energy to help you throughout the month.
Yeah.
Um,
Call in the energy of the lion, that strength,
yeah,
that courage,
yeah,
the
being brave.
independence, right? Just
Mm,
the lion just goes for what it knows it
yeah,
needs. So, yeah.
yeah. And even like looking up the biology meaning of the lion. So like what does science knows or says about the lion, like their behaviors?
Yeah.
Because that also factors in. Because like one thing I read, I didn't know this, was the lion. They are they do most of their work at dawn and at dusk.
Really?
Yeah, like a lot of people think like, oh, do they hunt during the day or they hunt only at night? And it's like, nope, it's dawn and dusk are their active times. So it's not a very long period, right? Like let's say maybe, I don't know, an hour at the most, but it's interesting, isn't it? So it's like, okay, so maybe for us, let's say if you're feeling, I got to get something done, I got to get it done, but I don't find my motivation or my oomph. Maybe try at dawn or try at dusk, right?
Maybe.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, it could be worth a
Right?
go. Mhm. Interesting, eh?
Sometimes I'm up at dawn thinking or doing things. I have a lot more energy in the
Yeah,
dawn. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and it could be your inspiration time. It could be like maybe you don't get out of bed at dawn. Maybe it could be where, oh, I'm awake and this came to me. And it could be like, and write it down. Like it could be
Yeah, for
solutions,
sure.
it could be ideas. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah. So take down those notes.
for sure.
Okay. Um, what else? I guess, did I bring up, so there's loyalty, I'm going to just put these all together. So
Okay.
loyalty, trust, values, care, share. Those A lot of those traits are connected to the number two, even though it's a number 8 month.
Yeah.
Values, but it's like values is underneath all that. So it's like, okay, because values is connected to the number 8 energy. What do you value? Where do you put your value in?
Right.
You know, so it's like, it's interesting because it's like, okay, loyalty, the trust, the caring, the sharing. So it's like, our values related to those traits will come up, may be tested. We're showing them more, like maybe we're being true to our values, where where do our loyalties lie? Who do we trust? What do we trust? What do we care about? What are we willing to share?
Yeah.
Right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and it can
Exactly.
get really deep and profound. So we might find that, oh my gosh, I'm sharing or caring about things that I've kept quiet about,
Yeah.
you know.
Right. You're going to have a voice.
Yeah, yeah, and that's where being brave is, right?
That's right.
And
That's
and
right.
courage, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Exactly right. And my mom just showed up. You're
Oh,
late, mother. How dare you?
that's okay, Doreen. I, I'm gonna say, like, I don't care that you're late. It's good.
No, at least she showed up. That was
Yeah,
nice.
that's right. Yeah, she was brave to say that.
She was brave. We would have
I'm
never
late.
known, Mom. You
Yeah,
could have just showed up and we would have never known.
yeah, yeah, that's right. All right.
What else are
Also,
you thinking?
I was
Yes.
going to say it's going to be easy to worry this month. I mean,
The
there's some
easier for
people
me.
that worry all the time. Some people say, well, I'm a worrier, and I
Yeah.
worry all the time. But I think worries will be like for a lot of people, especially if you find you're not the type of person who goes down that route of worry, right? Or not worry so
Lucky.
much. Some people are really good. They say, I don't worry so much. I let it, they're good, but it could be where it comes up. And it could be maybe you don't see it that way as a worry. Like you could be like questioning, like, oh, am I ready for this?
Yeah.
And that could be, where you're worrying about, are you ready? Are you prepared enough? Right? Do you have what it takes? So it's connected to confidence. As I'm looking, because worry is a number 2 energy and confidence is a number 8 energy. So mix those two together. It's like, okay, try to be confident. What can you do to boost your confidence in that matter so you're not worrying or you're not,
Yeah.
being so, um, yeah, playing into that energy of what
Yeah.
if, because that's what it is, right? And it's like, no, you already have what it takes, or you're going to gain what it's going to take to, you know, you're building your confidence. You already have it, or you're going to be building it. That's what it's going to be about. Okay.
Just if I could have any words, I heard when
Yeah.
I was little. I forgot who told me, but it was failure to prepare is preparing to fail. So
Uh,
be prepared. It's different than worrying for me. So because I'm a worrier, but I've turned that
mhm.
into preparation, right? I'm preparing for now
Yeah.
you can't prepare for anything in life, of course. Life is what happens while you're busy planning for it.
Yeah.
But if you're going into a situation where a job interview, a
Yeah.
grocery store, a whatever you're doing in the moment,
Yeah.
prepare, because that's when that takes the worry away from me. Am I going to forget this? Am I going to forget that? So I just really prepare myself for situations. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good tip. It is.
it
Yeah.
eases the worry somewhat.
Yeah. 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 And sometimes preparing too could be like, what are you telling yourself?
Yeah, what
Right.
scenarios are you playing out here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so play
yeah.
out
And
the right ones. Yeah.
that's right. Or tell yourself like, no, I've got this, right?
Yeah,
Or I can do this because I've done it before, because we
I
tend to
know.
forget, right?
You know what to do. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Or it'll work out, it'll find a way, or if not, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's really good. Wise words, of course. Yeah. Following shows up. Um, I don't know what you want to say about that one. How do
Following.
you interpret, yeah, following? Because it can be
Um,
interpreted many different ways.
yeah. Yeah. No, my brain is kind of going blank on following. I don't
Okay.
really know what to say about that. Where are you
That's good.
going with
Yeah, so
it?
following for me, like ideally would be like following your heart or following your
Yeah,
instincts, following what feels good to you. That for me, ideally that would be following.
I like
But it
that.
also comes through as like what are you following in life? Like it could be like a person, a group, an organization, a movement. Are you following this person on Twitter, on Facebook? Like it,
That's where
it
my
can,
brain went, but
yeah.
I
So
was
it
like,
can be
no, I don't
all of,
really follow
yeah,
anyone. Yeah,
yeah. So I just want to make a point of, because sometimes I have a gripe with the following energy in the sense of like where there are some people who bring it up in a way that I feel is condescending.
hmm,
So it's like, so I'm gonna kind of be specific here. So I don't like it when there's those who say like you're sheeps, you're following, you're being sheepish because you're following,
yeah,
this side or this crowd.
yeah.
And I feel like that's not very loving.
No,
I mean, it's not, right? Of course.
no,
But
of
it
course,
feels like what is that fulfilling? What purpose does that serve? Because first it's not making anyone feel good.
right.
we have to try to come from a premise of like, okay, they're on, they're at that point in their journey, or that path, or whatever they're following.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be, I don't know, I want to say more loving about it in a way,
Yeah.
because they definitely don't not agreeing with what path we're following.
Right. Yeah. Aren't they just
Right.
following? Yeah. I mean, really, it's such a
Yeah,
contradiction.
because we're not on
So,
the same path when you're
right.
accusing the other person, right? So it's like, what does
Right.
that serve? So the point is like, okay, if you fall off your path or whatever you're following, um, a lot of times you don't feel good about that, right? You feel,
Yeah.
and it's like, so it's like, who's going to support you? Who's going to help pick you up? Who's going to
Yeah.
embrace you and love you despite the falling that you did? So I just feel like, um, you know, when it comes to following, can we just be like, okay, that's where they're at, that's who they're following, that's okay, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm following this path, and that's okay, right? Because we're all following somebody or something, whatever, right?
Right.
So I just feel, I don't know if this is making sense. I'm trying to sound very loving about this and polite.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to be where like, you know, whoever like points fingers or like accuse, I don't want it
Mm-hmm.
to be accusing from my standpoint. I just trying to like want to make a point where it's like it's not serving. I wish we would
Yeah.
stop doing that, and it'd be like, okay, because we're still going to meet up, or we still have to
Yeah.
live side by side.
Well, I'm not a fan
I
of
don't know, does it?
worshiping any man, right? You know me, and I've
Yeah,
said this to you before.
yeah,
I worship God and Jesus, but I'm just not a fan of worshiping man, because I don't know if you ever heard the saying is don't get to know your heroes, because heroes have flaws and are human, and of course they have flaws. Of course, are we
yeah,
all? So you're just seeing snippets online in social media. You don't know these people, and that's
yeah,
very important to remember. As much as you think you know them, you really only know what they're showing you, because it's
yeah,
social media. So
yeah,
I just have a very leery approach of making anyone a god.
yeah,
Right? That's not my mom. She's a god to me, and she knows it. But you know what I mean.
yeah,
So
yeah,
just be mindful of that. That they're just showing you what they want you to see at all times, and heroes do that. That's why they're heroes, because you don't get to see the flaws in them that the human has, and every human has those flaws.
yeah. And that's part of the maybe the following energy theme that
Maybe.
comes up this month. It could be where like, you might be wondering like, well, why am I following this person?
Right. Yeah. You start to get
Because
disenchanted,
yeah,
and then you're
yeah, or just
angry. You're
yeah,
angry because you feel duped. And it's a very common thing to happen in these days with what you're
yeah,
seeing. So don't feel duped. Just be
yeah,
mindful the next time somebody's coming to sing what they think you
right,
want to hear. Listen
yeah,
to it and love it, because if you don't listen to the conversation, if you just block those people out, you never have the other side of what they're saying as well too. There's something to learn from everyone, so don't block anyone. You
yeah.
want to hear what they have to say, whether
That's
you
right.
agree with it or not, so you
That's
can
right.
decipher.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it could be where like, you know what, I don't want to follow. It could
yeah,
be on social, let's say it's social media, like, somebody, an influencer or someone famous, and it could be like, well, because you might find like, I care more about this now in my life, or I
yes,
want, right, or I can't live up to that
yeah,
lifestyle or that expectations, or do they really, are they really like that day in, day out, right?
yeah,
Like you say, they're only presenting
yeah.
what they
You're only
want to
seeing what they're
present.
showing you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And yeah, are they being really honest, and are they,
yeah,
do
Where's
they
the
really
bloopers
care?
reel?
Yeah, what do they care about? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
So I mean, you know, maybe at times it can be, let's say, a nice out or distraction, right? Because it
Of
helps
course.
you.
And
But
you're learning. You're learning
yeah,
something.
but
Yeah.
then it's like, you know what? It may not be for you, and you find like, okay, I'm not following that anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I just thought of something with following. It could be
Yeah.
where, like, it could be hard to follow certain conversations or follow, you
Yeah.
know,
Follow along.
what
Yeah.
people are behaving like. It could be like, well, I don't follow, you
Yeah.
know, or,
Yeah.
you know, help me follow, you know, it could be in that term as well. So yeah,
Yeah. I like
there you
that.
go. There's something, yeah, I like
There you
that
go.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Julie's it's really quiet today.
I'm very quiet. I know. I don't know why. I just
Yeah,
feeling very peaceful. I don't have anything going on. I
that could
got no
be it.
angst,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'll take
That's
it.
nice. That's lovely. See, there you go. Love, love, love.
Love, love, love.
Love is very peaceful.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the tarot card. Let's see if this gets
Okay.
you talking and chattering.
Why not? I'll just sit here quiet. Temperance you chose for
Yeah,
February, which I
I
love. That's
know.
my Archangel Michael card. And
Oh,
he is always guiding. But temperance, there's that balance. He's got the sun and the moon, one in each hand. You know, he's shifting that power from the moon to the sun and the sun to the moon as they work together. And they do work together, of course. The moon can't shine without the sun. So there's that temperance, you know, that balance of the shift is shifting, because if you just give to the good, there's that imbalance again too. So you have to make sure it's balanced with the good and the bad, and not judge it so much with this month coming in, because the emotions are very intense and high. We've got the new moon tonight. Set your intentions for peace and balance, rather than I want to be right. I want to be,
that's
in
right.
Hawaii. I want to be, instead of so rigid, I want to feel peaceful. I want to feel calm. I want to not be in that argument. Maybe that really doesn't have anything to do with me in my life and my daily life. So
Yeah.
what to get involved in, what not to get involved in. The twos are always decision-making kind of mode in the tarot. So, but there's got to be that balance. You can't just go all in. You do throughout your life. We all do this, the up and down, you go all in. But when you know better, you do better. So you learn everything you can out of that. And then you go higher with that. You can't stay with the same teacher your entire life. You have to keep elevating up, right? Because there's more to learn. And that teacher, I heard a comedian say, that a third grade teacher only needs a second grade education, so
Oh,
you've got to keep elevating the knowledge, and they're great for every teacher is so valid in your life. Every mentor is so valid in your life, but there's negative mentors too that can be very valid in your life, and
mhm.
give you that other side of who they think you are,
Yeah.
and so that's very valid. It can be triggering and hurtful to hear these things that people are maybe
Yeah.
perceiving you as doing. But it's very valid, because then it gives you that balance, that other side of it, and so it's important. It's just a
Yeah.
real shifting time. I feel like we're on some kind of shifting sands right now. We've been
Yeah.
through the chaos, we've been through the oppression, now we're starting to stand up and say, you know what, enough. I want a peaceful life. I want this and this and this. I want love in my life. And you're starting to carve out some of the negative things that brought you distress. Even relationships, as we've seen, have kind of split up this way, and you've gone into kind of maybe more of this side of the family, or to
Mhm.
this sibling seems to resonate a little bit more, or, but you're not. We do right now. We're coming out of that cutout where we can't tolerate it. Now we're starting to say, well, what were they saying? Maybe I should start seeing the other side of this, what they were seeing, their perspectives. I think we're
Yes.
starting to come into a little bit more of that
Yeah.
understanding, and a little more compassion. We went into this very incompassionate period too, where we were so focused on ourselves because it was so scary. I remember living in Florida before hurricanes. It was a horrible time, because Rosie and I would go to Costco, and people were ripping water out of people's carts, old
Wow.
people that needed it. it made us cry. I remember Rosie and I got in the car and we sobbed before our first hurricane experience there, because it was every man for himself. After the hurricane came, there were so many people coming to help. There was nothing but
Mhm.
compassion. Well, we needed the compassion before the hurricane hit. We needed the
Yeah,
compassion before COVID hit, and then the chaos hit. People
yeah,
were in that emergency mode, right?
yeah,
So now it's kind of, some years have gone by. We're a little more desensitized to COVID. Maybe it's not as deadly to me as I thought. There's people I need to protect, yes, but maybe I'm okay. And we can't do anything about our situations until we feel like we're okay. So I feel like we're just coming into kind of a, you know what, I survived. I'm here. I've made it through this far. I'm okay. So
mhm,
maybe I can start hearing that other side now, that I'm
yeah,
not so scared, you know,
yeah,
and hearing the other side of it, so we can kind of balance those energies out and elevate, and now go higher to the next learning, thing that
yeah,
we're coming into as a collective.
yeah,
So that's my hope.
yeah, yeah. And I feel like temperance, like I feel like it is a peaceful card,
It is very,
right? And I
yes,
feel like, you know, I don't, what about, I don't want to take a side,
right.
right?
You
Like
don't
that's
need it.
how I
Yeah,
feel right now. It's like, you know what? I don't want to take your side. I don't want to take this side either. I just want to like just be
yeah,
and like honor. Why can't you just honor what I feel or I believe? Because that's what I feel like. There are those that are feel like they're not being heard, or like I feel like my feelings don't count for something. I think that's because
yeah,
temperance, when I like that card because it's so different, but the tarot card that I
yeah.
usually
This is the,
think of is the person, they got one foot in the water
yeah, right there. I don't know
right
if you can
there.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I feel like and the angels. Yeah, it's
yeah.
almost like um now I lost my train of
She's
thought with
got
it.
she's got one foot in the water and one foot on the land.
Yeah.
And she's got one cup pouring into another cup that never
Yeah.
has any other source than each other.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's almost like, because this is for me, like my choices, especially as I'm getting older, and like when you said, like, it's about growing and elevating. So I feel like I've been like trying to embrace this life where I'm walking more into my intuition, where I'm trying to honor more and more my intuition. And that's not always easy to do. Because
Yeah.
because sometimes it's scary, and I'm thinking like, wacko, like my heart is saying this, but what if my head's going, but what if this. So anyway,
Yeah.
so it's like that's what I get with the water. It's like, it's part intuition, but
Right.
also part, you know the human side. Like it's both, like balancing the human
Tangible.
and the
Yeah.
spirit, the human and the spirit. And it's like, so if my intuition is saying no to something, why can't that just count?
It does.
But it
Yes.
doesn't. But
I know.
it's not be but they won't let me honor that,
I
right?
know. Yeah.
So it's
I know.
I feel like I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Well, it
I
is being honored. You can say no and be honored for saying no too. That, I guess that's where it does start to shift a little bit, where you feel okay to do that.
yeah,
Your brain doesn't fight you so much
yeah,
to say no, I don't agree with you. I'm listening to you. I'm understanding what you're saying. Because see, that's the thing, I think, is people are feeling so misunderstood. So they say it in 20 different ways to think
yeah,
that will clarify for you.
yeah,
But you are understanding, you're just not agreeing. And so there's no acceptance there. There's no acceptance. And I think that's
yeah,
what needs to come in more, is an acceptance of a no. I don't agree with that. I understand,
yeah,
but I don't agree. And
yeah,
I think we're
yeah.
coming into that.
Yeah, so it's like my intuition would be like, okay, this is what I'm picking up on my intuition. But it's like if you choose this, but my intuition says differently, then you know what? I'm not going to force my intuition on you.
Right,
That's
exactly.
what that's where I feel like I'm at. It's like,
That,
okay,
yeah,
either
exactly.
if you ask what my intuition says, I'm going to be open now about it. I'm going to share.
Yeah,
But if you don't agree, you don't agree, and if you agree, you agree. I just don't want to fight anymore.
no, me neither.
And
I've
that
done
even like
that.
that even means like fighting with myself, like, oh,
Mhm.
being pulled in different directions. And it's like, okay, I want to stop and like be even tempered about it. I guess that's what temperance is like, easing the temperament, like being at peace. That's why I feel like it's such a peaceful card. It's like calling in the peace. And it's like, okay.
I love
And it's,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I think so. I agree with you.
yeah,
Absolutely. Calling in the peace.
yeah,
We're actually, literally calling it into us right
yeah,
now. And as a community, we're doing it so much stronger because we're all contributing to this energy of calm now, peace now. Let's
yeah,
talk about this. Let's have the conversation, and just listen, right?
yeah.
And so it's getting
Yeah,
better.
trying to see both sides of the story. And like you said before,
Yes.
like, because one of the big um, conundrums, would you say it? How do you say that?
Conundrum.
Conundrum
Yeah.
is like, because it's the ego versus the heart this month, is like the ego, like you said, likes to be right. It's about being right,
Hmm.
whether it's right or wrong. It's just about, I want to be right. I'm
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, the twos are pushing back, are saying like, wait, but is that right for you or right for everyone? Or like what's this righteousness all about?
Yes.
Right? Because it's not going
Yes.
to be for
Righteousness.
everyone.
Good word.
So
Yeah.
the twos are pushing back saying, but what does your heart say? Can you look at both sides of the story? Can you be at peace
Yeah.
with both sides and just honor your own righteousness, or your own, what you feel is right
Yeah.
for you, may not be right for the other, right? Like, and it's like
Right.
honoring that. So
Well, of
anyways, that's
course
what I hope.
you are, and they are right. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah,
just fighting, but so am I. So was she.
yeah,
So is
that's
he.
right.
So are
Yeah,
they.
yeah,
So you are right. So let
yeah,
that go now.
yeah, yeah. And it's like, let's start. I don't know. It's like, I just feel like now we have to find the peace with all this. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it'll
Acceptance.
be interesting this month.
So
It'll
interesting.
be,
Yeah. Here we go.
yeah, yeah. So love, 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 and
Love,
more
love,
love,
love. Yes, and more love.
and more
Get our
love to
little love
every.
shakers,
I know, I know. Yeah,
right? Our
yeah,
fairy dust.
yeah. I need to get my wand out. I have a wand.
Yes, get your
Love,
wand
love,
out.
love, and more love.
Me too. I have lots of wands. I'm going to do it too.
Yeah. So,
Ah,
well,
well,
do you have anything else you'd like to add?
no, it actually went longer than I was even thinking since I was being
Yeah,
so quiet,
I know, I know,
right?
I know.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for stopping by. I know you're feeling the same way. I can just feel it. I
Yeah,
just feel
I
it.
feel like too. Yeah, even the chat room's quiet. Like
Yep.
usually, like it's like tons
Yeah.
and tons of comments, but it's like just a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
That's
Just
okay.
like me.
That's
I love
okay.
it. Yeah. We'll stay here for a little bit, at least till
Yeah,
next week.
yeah. So we will have a show. Yeah, we are having a show next week. Um, I can't remember what topic we decided on.
I don't either.
Yeah, but it will.
It'll
There'll
come
be a
to us.
post about. Yeah, there'll be a
Yeah.
post. Prior to the air date. So we'll be back here next Monday, starting at noon, Alberta, Arizona time.
Yes.
So that means it'll be different times depending what area of the world you're in. So 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. in the Maritimes, Atlantic.
Damn. Damn, girl.
I've done it so many times. It's like, woo!
Good for
7,
you.
I believe it's 7 p.m. in the UK because there are people from the UK that, will watch. 8 p.m. in Germany, Romania, I believe Switzerland, Sweden, Norway, like a lot of countries in Europe are 8 p.m. time zone. But when it comes to like across, like in Asia, um, Australia, I don't know because it's the next day.
Wah, wah. There, you blew it.
It's already February there.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So they know.
But I just want to thank everyone for listening. And because I just feel like it wasn't always easy to hear some of these messages, especially at the beginning, the way the talk, started. Thank you, Julie, for holding the space too, because I feel like you were very peaceful today.
You too.
And not like you're not. Julie's a very peaceful person, everyone, okay?
Oh, thank you.
Um,
Not always.
yeah, not always, but
No.
I just felt like you let me talk, you let me share. Because usually I try to be quiet about those things. Like I try to be,
I loved it. I love
yeah,
the
I
conversation.
try to be
Yeah.
like where I'm not like, sharing all my views, right? But it
Yeah.
got personal for me
I
at the
loved it.
beginning. Yeah. So thank you for listening to that and hearing me out. For being here. And for those who watch the replay, thank you. Thank you for
Yes.
doing that. We appreciate all of your support, all of your love. You're part of our family.
Yeah.
Also, if you would like to get a personal reading, reach out to us. Our emails are scrolling at the bottom. We're available for private sessions, whether you want to book us together or separately, because we do that. And please come back again, right?
Yes. Please do. And enjoy your week. Fill it with love and light this week
Yeah,
and see what
the whole
happens.
month. Yeah,
A whole
yeah,
month.
yeah. Love, love, love. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
meditation of the week. Wash yourself with love. So even just sitting down, even if it's just for a few minutes, and just like take a few deep breaths in and out. And the deep breaths help calm you. It helps center your energy. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just when you're breathing in, like maybe imagine like all this love pouring into you. Doesn't matter, if you imagine it as hearts, if you imagine it as a colored light, if you imagine it as an angel, as God, whatever, just imagine just all this love pouring into you.
I love
And then
that.
breathe out all this love. So it's like just being awashed in love, and like do that often, and just pay attention. How does that make you feel, and how does that affect your life? Because I'm going to say it will make a difference. You're going to see some sort of proof
Yeah, for sure.
of it working.
Love
So
that. Yes.
yeah, me too. So everyone, I'm just going to send everyone here love, 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 and more love. So stay safe, be well, and thanks, Julie.
Thank you,
Love,
Tina.
love to you.
Love to you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.